What is going on, guys? It's your boy Shady My Gaming. I'm super excited to be able to bring you guys the first edition of my NBA 2K22 slider set. Now this video is going to be formatted a little bit differently. I'll have some gameplay in the background and all that good stuff, but I really wanted to talk first and foremost about why we're going about things a little bit differently this year, and things of that nature. So first and foremost, if you do like the video, please hit the video with a like and subscribe to the channel for more. And also, as you guys, most of you know, I do play 2K22 on PC. So for any mods that I'm using, if you have any questions about the setup or anything like that, join the 2K Modding Society Discord. That's my Discord server. I have the link in the description of every video that I do. I've got a section in there, it's called Shady's Mods, where I go through and detail all the mods that I'm using in my game, and if that changes, I update that section. So first and foremost, I just want to address the sliders and the slider set. The sliders will be in the description, but there are some things this year is a little bit different, so make sure you watch the entire video so you understand exactly how to set them up. I'll tell you this, right? We had to approach the sliders a little bit differently this year, and the reason being is because some of the sliders don't work. Now, I spent a lot of time this year trying to come to an understanding of what some of the sliders actually do, instead of just rushing a set out using formulas and things of that nature I've used in years past, because as it turns out, a lot of the things that we were doing in years past aren't working this year because certain sliders don't work. Now, the goal of this set was a few things. Number one, we wanted to fix the defense. 2K heavily nerfed the defense, and we wanted to get that aggressive defense back from launch day. Even though the devs and things of that nature denied that they changed the defense, they said we're not touching gameplay, we're not touching this. We have very solid evidence that the defense reverted back close to what it was in 2K21. We're talking parting of the Red Sea, mindless, clueless AI, and you know, I have video proof of that. And when I, you know, sent the proof to the developers on Twitter, instead of acknowledging it and understanding that there was an issue, they blocked me. So that's, you know, the way how they handle things. I don't think that's the way you should handle yourself as a business, but it is what it is. The other issue with the game is, of course, the CPU shot selection. It's the same thing every year, right? They just put their head down, go straight into the paint. Every year we usually fix this with the tendency sliders. Unfortunately, this year the tendency sliders just are not effective as they've been in years past. So we decided to do roster edits globally, and later on in the video I will show all of you how we can globally edit our rosters to get much better gameplay, and it'll look a lot like some of the clips you've seen on Twitter, and obviously in the background of this video as well. One other issue that so far I'm working on, I have not been able to fix, is the transition game. There's no fast break in the game whatsoever. It seems like the CPU speed has just been, not even the CPU, but the defense's speed has been artificially boosted to cover up for the lack of a transition AI. Last year we criticized 2K for their transition defense, and they said, okay, well, we'll fix it. And the way they fixed it is by artificially speeding up the defenders, which in all essence destroyed the fast break. Now my thought process was I would work with the movement sliders to fix this issue. Unfortunately, this year two of the movement sliders, the max and min movement speed with the ball sliders, do not work. In the past, when there were sliders that didn't work, I was able to reach out to the devs and get things changed. We've done that in the past. We've done it successfully. This year, the way the devs are acting, you know, I don't know if this is something we're going to be able to get fixed, but you know, again, feel free to share this video with any of your favorite devs, and maybe they'll have a change of heart and actually, you know, step up and make a change for the community. But that's what I'm doing. I'm here doing what I do for the community, trying to make this game somewhat playable, and that's the goal. The other issue that I'm still working on is the fouls. The fouls are not good again this year, not getting close to the NBA average of fouls. So we're going to continue to tweak. This is our first beta. The sliders are beta and the tendencies are beta, but I've gotten some really good games. We played some good games on the stream, and we've been continuing to tweak. So without further ado, the sliders are in the description for you to enter. And next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at exactly what type of edits we're going to be making to the rosters and how to edit your rosters globally. All right, so when you take a look in game at some of the tendencies, these are the tendencies that we usually use every year to adjust how often the CPU shoots and where from. In years past, these sliders are extremely sensitive, so boosting them by 10 and 15 could yield great results. From this year, you can put inside and close shots all the way at 0, and mid-range and 3-point shots all the way at 100, and the CPU still not shooting the basketball. That is a concern. So what we chose to do this year, and again, all these sliders will be in the description, what we chose this year instead was to go through and do roster edits. Now we also have run into an issue this year as we've been messing around with some of the movement sliders. All I can confirm for this, I've not been able to get anyone to test this for me, but I am on PC playing 2K22. These sliders, the speed with ball sliders, do not work. They do not affect your movement speed with the ball in any way. So that has made it very difficult to push the brake because the user does weird stutter step animations, and you can't push the brake. As of right now, I don't see a remedy for that situation. We need 2K to fix the weird stutter step animations in open space, and we need 2K to fix these sliders because they do not work. So you know, if any one wants to go ahead and tag a dev in this video, I would appreciate it. I can't tag the devs because they blocked me. It's funny. You know, you got someone doing the dev's job, trying to make the game better, and that's how they approach it. It's unfortunate, but we move. We're gonna keep trying to do what we do for the community and make things better through the sliders and tendencies that we can adjust. So for right now, I haven't tweaked too much with the shot tendencies. I'm gonna take you all in and explain exactly how we edit the tendencies globally in a roster, so that you don't all have to go through and do these one by one. All right, so let's talk about globally editing tendencies. When you go to a roster and you go to create a roster, and we're just going to choose the official 2K roster, you hit start to do a quick edit, and then you hit X or A, whatever you're on PlayStation or Xbox, to edit the entire column. And as you can see, right now I'm on the Sixers. I'm editing dunk tendencies here, so I'm raising up every Sixers player's dunk tendencies. The problem with doing this in the roster creator is that you can only do this one team at a time. You can't do all of the players. When you go to edit all players, it goes back to the Sixers. You can't globally edit all of the teams, all of the players in the roster editor. So the way that I get around this personally, because my time is valuable, I just don't have time to do all that and test it and things of that nature. What I do is I go into my NBA. We are going to create a new, starting regular season. We're just going to create a new one. We're going to select all the teams. I usually just put everything on auto. There we go. Auto generate rookies for now, if you don't have a draft class that you like. And so I go over to front office, and I hit start again for the quick edit, and press X for the column, of course, and then you notice I can switch over to do all players. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about some of the tendencies that we're gonna lower. These are obviously ratings, so you press Y or triangle, and now you have the tendencies, and you can globally edit all of the tendencies. So you'll notice one issue with 2K right now is the close shot tendency. The CPU just takes way too many shots from close, so I take the close shot tendency and minus it by 20. What you will also notice too is, because I get this question a lot, I am going to post the tendencies in the description as well, of the changes that I make, obviously, so you all don't have to follow through the video exactly. But I do get a question a lot, is does this affect simulation stats? And yes, it does affect sim stats, but there's ways that you can tweak the sim engine to kind of normalize these stats. I haven't gotten into that completely. That is something that later down the road, so that we can fix our sim stats. Once we change all of these things, we're going to go ahead and work to get that taken care of. So the take shot close tendency, we drop by 20. I like to slide over to on stream yesterday. We did do some mid-range stuff. I'm gonna skip the mid-range stuff for now. You go over to the take shot 3 tendency. I like to bump this up by 20. You will then have a spot up 3 tendency. I bump this up by 30. You will have an off-screen 3 tendency. I bump this up by 20. Next up, the 2 that are really important, that really changes. In my slider set, every year we focus on the ability to make contested jump shots. So the contested mid-range, we bump this up quite a bit. We bump this up by 50. And then contested 3, we bump this up by 50 as well. and this really plays really nice with the 3-point tendency that we bumped up as well. A step back mid-range I didn't touch, but the step back 3-pointer I did touch. We bumped this up by 40, and that puts us up a little bit here. Next up, this is the really important one, and this is the transition 3 one. It's extremely sensitive. I've still been playing with this one. I bumped it up by 10, I bumped it up by 15, I bumped it up by 20. It still wasn't seeing a whole lot, so for now I'm gonna bump this up by 40, and we'll bump this up by 40 because we do see a lot of transition 3s in the league. But if it's too high, we can always, you know, bring it back a little bit. Obviously, that's, you know, that is why you know, we have a, you know, this is why we have a beta set. We also have a driving pull-up 3. I've bumped this up by 50, and so that'll give you quite a big boost, just on guys looking for that 3-point shot. So that's a lot of fun there. The next tendency that we added, it's called the dish to open man tendency. We bumped that up by 30. What that does is it helps players to find the open man on drive, so they kick it out a little bit more. One that I love to edit as well, which is a lot of fun, is the flashy pass tendency, and we go ahead and we bump that up by 30. And this one is really cool because what it does is it takes some of your normal passing animations, just when you don't actually have to input flashy passes. You can just press the X button, and due to the tendencies, players will automatically execute flashy passes. So I really love that. It adds a lot of flavor to the game. The next tendency that we bump up is the foul tendency. There's nowhere near enough fouls in the game. We bump that up by 25. And then you go over to the hard foul tendency. And what I actually do is I actually put this all the way to the max. You don't ever see hard fouls anyway. Like, I rarely ever see them. So I go ahead and max this one out. Again, the whole point is we're trying to get as many fouls as possible. All right, guys, and that's going to do it for the sliders and the tendency edits that I've made to the roster. This is a process. We're going to continue to tweak this. We're going to continue to tweak the sim engine, because, you know, I know through the sliders you can tweak that to try and make the stats more accurate. This is going to be a process that we work on to get this game playing right throughout the season. This is our first beta. It took a while to get to this point, but I'm really happy with some of the gameplay that I'm starting to see. So it's a process, but I'm really excited. We're getting some realistic gameplay, and now we've done our part. We're going to continue to try to make this as accurate as possible. Now we just hope that 2K can come along and try to make some improvements and adjustments to you know, the game in the areas that they need to. We're talking fast break, we're talking that weird stutter step animation that doesn't let us run. We're doing our part. We need these developers to step up, address these issues, and support us after launch, after they have our money. We need the support from the developers. So guys, this is your boy Shady My Gaming. We're back at it again for another year. I'm so sorry this took so long, but I really wanted to make sure this was right. We're going to be back on our regular upload schedule to get back to our signature shots, so stay tuned for Cade Cunningham, and I'll put another poll up for who we're working on next week. But other than that, guys, it's your boy Shady My Gaming. I'm signing out. Peace. Threes.